Welcome back, coin lovers and coin hunters. Today we are diving into one of the most underestimated but wildly powerful relics in American numismatics, the top 7 most valuable and most expensive Lincoln Old Wheat Penny. Not just old, not just copper. This coin is a living piece of pre-war U.S. history that has collectors going crazy when elite examples surface. Even dirty, worn-down specimens tell a Depression-era story, but the high-grade survivors of this exact year have sold for thousands. If you want to see why this tiny coin is treated like a historical treasure and how it became a high-demand, high-value magnet in today's market, stay with me. Because this one is not just a penny, it is a piece of power. Let's get started. First up, in the 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny stands out as one of the most captivating and highly sought-after issues in early 20th century U.S. cent history, especially when discussed in the context of powerful collectible appeal and cultural demand. Even when found in very dirty, old, heavily circulation-worn condition, it still attracts the attention of serious coin people worldwide because it represents both preserved history and the emotional pull of the wheat penny era. For collectors and investors alike, this coin has solidified its status as a prized treasure in the numismatic landscape, valued not only for what it is materially, but for what it symbolizes about the American story. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint during the tail end of the Great Depression and prior to World War II, the 1939 Wheat Penny delivers a palpable, touchable link to a United States in transition, recovering economically, modernizing rapidly, and heading unknowingly toward global war. It is not a ceremonial or commemorative issue, yet its production year sits directly inside one of the most consequential chapters of U.S. history, allowing it to function as a quiet time capsule for collectors who love coins that carry untold narratives in their copper surfaces. The obverse proudly carries Victor David Brenner's well-loved portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, strong, and iconically engraved, paired with the charming "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the 1939 date without mint mark. The reverse features the beloved wheat ear design, with symmetrical stalks arching around the words 1 cent and United States of America, framed by E pluribus unum above. Composed primarily of 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, its color and relief, when preserved in high grades, are highly attractive to collectors seeking Bronze-era texture and authenticity. Although the coin was mass-produced, truly premium examples, especially uncirculated red survivors with strong luster, original surfaces, and zero corrosion, are scarce. Even more elusive are obscure varieties attributed to die doubling or unusual striking accidents. And while dirty, old, circulated examples are common in quantity, the high-grade, investment-level, strong eye appeal coins are statistically thin in the market, pushing collectors into bidding wars whenever top slabs appear at auction. While your average circulated 1939 cent sells cheap, the most exceptional investment caliber pieces, uncirculated red, strong strike, certified, or rare error die examples, have hit $1,000 to $8,000 in certain offering environments, especially when provenance, originality, and technical grade are absolutely prime. That price bracket is anchored by the coin's pre-war timing, classical artwork, aging scarcity, and the ever-growing global demand for elite wheat cents among U.S. and overseas investors. Collectors who pursue this date should prioritize coins graded by PCGS or NGC with high-end red designations, RD or RB. Look out for varieties like double dies and RPM-style anomalies, and purchase from reputable auction houses or recognized private dealers. For storage, use inert flips or slabs to avoid future color degradation, never polish or clean, and absorb pricing intelligence from online auction archives and active wheatcent communities before placing major bids. What makes this simple penny so addictive is not just its metal, but its aura. It compresses art, politics, wartime proximity, economic memory, and deep American continuity into a 19mm disc of copper. It evokes nostalgia, sparks research, and invites speculation. And unlike modern mass-run coins, top-grade survivors of this year simply cannot be reproduced, making every elite specimen an unrepeatable asset. The 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny stands as a compelling blend of historical relevance, classical beauty, and controlled rarity, firmly qualifying it as a prized treasure in the realm of powerful collectible cents. Whether pursued as a portfolio anchor or as a personal heirloom of American narrative, this coin offers what true numismatists crave: a tangible, permanent, and emotionally resonant connection to the nation's past with a market that continues to respect and reward it year after year. Next up, in the 1940 Philadelphia struck Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark stands as a captivating and historically charged relic. Even in extremely old, grimy, unwashed as-found condition, this piece pulls collectors in because it represents that special crossroad of nostalgia, national confidence, and Depression-era recovery. Its presence inside a collection signals not just ownership of copper, but custody of a narrative, a physical time capsule forged in an age that tested American grit. Today, when preserved in elite high-grade or discovered as a dramatic error, it rises in demand and commands all across auctions and private trades. The 1940 issue was minted at the Philadelphia Mint in the aftermath of the Great Depression, a period when coins were not just monetary units, but emotional proof of national endurance. The Lincoln cent was already a patriotic symbol after its 1909 debut honoring the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and by 1940 it had become the entrenched workhorse of American wallets and cash drawers. When Americans handled these coins, they were touching metal struck during the lead-up to World War II, an era when global tensions simmered and U.S. policy cautiously shifted toward readiness. Every 1940 cent that survives is thus a tangible connection to fear, faith, and financial rebirth. This coin carries Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a bold, sharply chiseled likeness that anchors nearly every U.S. pocket since its first appearance. The reverse still displays the agricultural wheat ears, emblem framing the denomination and United States inscriptions, a design retired in 1958 and replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. Struck in bronze, 95% copper, 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and weighing 3.11 g, its warmth, tone, and copper brilliance, when found in high grade, deliver visual charm that modern zinc cents can never replicate. The lack of a mint mark reinforces its Philadelphia origin and its place among primary circulation strikes. Although millions were minted, true rarity emerges not from raw mintage but from condition and variety. The challenge lies in finding high-grade uncirculated survivors or dramatic collectible anomalies like doubled dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, or woody grain planchet errors. Dirty, heavily worn examples are abundant, but pristine and verified variants move the needle from pocket change to trophy artifact. The top-graded or perfectly preserved 1940 no-mint mark cent exists in a minuscule fraction of the original output, and their scarcity underlines why collectors pursue them with intense focus. In common worn circulated state, the coin is modest, but when found in uncompromised, crisp, certified mint state, or with a rare error or double die trait, its value can surge into the thousands. Exceptional pieces verified by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC have realized figures in the $1,000 to $8,000 range, depending on perfection, rarity, and market timing. Premiums are powered by the coin's threefold appeal: historical weight, eye-appeal brilliance, and diminishing supply of untouched survivors. Collectors observe steady long-term appreciation as high-grade wheat cents tighten under global demand. Serious collectors prioritize coins with documented certification, pristine luster, and known varieties rather than random bulk. Always check for doubling on lettering or date, struck through anomalies, rim cut breaks, or off-center impressions. Those instantly escalate desirability. Handle raw copper with absolute care. Use non-PVC flips or capsules, avoid touch with bare fingers, and never clean or polish, as cleaning vaporizes collector value. Buy through trusted dealers, coin shows, or auction houses with return guarantees. Join collector forums and watch market reports to anticipate demand spikes. The 1940 no-mint mark wheat cent is psychological magnetism. It activates the collector's instinct in a way many later coins never succeed in doing. It sits at an emotional intersection of history and accessibility, old enough to feel museum-worthy, yet still attainable in the present marketplace. That balance, reachable but not common in elite condition, is what creates long-term gravitational pull. Even novice hobbyists often report that once they purchase their first high-grade 1940 wheat cent, they immediately feel elevated into a more serious tier of collection identity. This coin is not treated as disposable copper. It is treated as a doorway coin, a status marker. For coins of this vintage, professional certification is not a luxury. It is the oxygen of confidence. Grading by NGC or PCGS converts speculation into proof, turning a maybe valuable coin into a certified financial artifact. Encapsulation protects the coin from future harm, locks its grade, and creates sale-ready legitimacy for auctions or resale. Certified mint state examples of this coin are watched closely by investors because copper can soften or tone unpredictably when left raw. A graded and sealed 1940 no-mint mark wheat cent is, in practical terms, an insured and authenticated historical commodity, and that change in classification is precisely what pumps premiums. The real financial shocks occur not just from grade, but from the presence of rare die varieties and minting errors. Doubled dies on the motto, date, or lettering can escalate collector urgency instantly. Off-center strikes, retained cuds, lamination peels, and wood-grain planchet flaws produce character that cannot be replicated or restruck, making them irreplaceable once discovered. These anomalies carry narrative weight. They tell a story about the factory floor of 1940, about human error, machine fatigue, and industrial imperfection stamped into copper forever. When such traits are combined with high grade, the coin transitions from a collectible into a one-of-one event piece. Unlike hype-driven modern issues that spike and collapse with trends, the 1940 wheat cent represents slow and steady value accretion. Demand is not generated by temporary internet fads, but by deep historical respect and the finite nature of supply. Every year that passes, more cents are lost to damage, cleaning, mishandling, or estate dispersal, shrinking the number of premium examples. Meanwhile, new generations enter the hobby and add to demand. This slow tightening of supply against stable or increasing appetite is exactly the formula that produces price growth over multi-decade time frames. Collectors who seek collections with narrative authority, not just metal content, recognize that the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is not optional. It is foundational. It is the kind of coin that instantly upgrades the intellectual weight of a coin portfolio, because it is proof that the collector is not chasing novelty, but committing to history. Its market behavior is rational, its symbolism powerful, its provenance American, and its survival in high-grade rare enough to maintain respect. For all these reasons, the 1940 wheat cent occupies a permanent and unshakable tier in U.S. numismatics, a copper relic with the dignity of a chapter in national handwriting. This is not merely a disc of bronze. It is a pocket witness to an era that shaped modern America. Its design is iconic, its timeline is meaningful, and its survival in superior state is genuinely difficult. For many collectors, a high-grade 1940 Philadelphia wheat penny is a benchmark coin, a rite of passage acquisition that cements one's credibility inside the hobby. That is why it continues to trigger active bidding wars and long-term holding strategies. The 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny blends beauty, age, patriotism, and scarcity in a way that keeps it relevant and powerful across generations of numismatists. Whether pursued for its historical narrative, its escalating market trajectory, or its emotional link to America's pre-war identity, it remains a prized treasure in the wheat cent world. For those who can secure a certified high-grade or rare variety, this copper time capsule is more than a coin. It is an anchor collectible with lasting market respect and global appeal. Next up in the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark stands out as a captivating and highly sought-after relic in the world of numismatics, treasured not merely for its age, but for the powerful impression it leaves on collectors and historians alike. Even when found extremely old, very dirty, or time-stained from generations of circulation, this coin still holds a magnetic appeal and is pursued fiercely by specialists due to its role in pre-war American currency and its commanding presence within the wheat cent series. For enthusiasts who chase historical metal with soul, this penny is admired as a true prized treasure, cherished for both its past and its premium market attention. Struck in 1942 at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, this coin sits at a turning point in U.S. history. Made in the final calm before America plunged into full wartime production during World War II. The cent still used bronze at this moment, copper, tin, and zinc, before tin was pulled for the war effort and replaced by steel the following year. Every 1942 no-mint Lincoln cent is a tangible link to Roosevelt-era America, the ration era, pre-draft manufacturing, and the final breath of pre-wartime monetary composition. It is, in every sense, a coin that speaks history. Featuring Abraham Lincoln's bold portrait on the obverse with "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date, 1942, at right. The coin retains the traditional early 20th century portrait styling still admired today. The reverse proudly displays the legendary wheat stalks flanking 1 cent and United States of America, with E Pluribus Unum rising overhead, a design now permanently retired and loved for its rustic patriotic tone. While this regular issue piece bears no mint mark, certain dies created sharper strikes or doubled impressions, spawning scarce varieties that dramatically raised desirability and price. Although millions were minted, true rarity emerges not from raw population but from quality, survival, and variety. Most surviving 1942 cents are heavily worn, stained, bent, or corroded. Even fewer remain in sharply struck, near-perfect, untouched states. Certified mint state examples and visually dramatic error types, such as double die obverse, can transform this ordinary year cent into a powerhouse of market demand. The paradox is simple. There are many, yet near-pristine high-grade survivors are scarce. And that scarcity ignites competitive buying. That the 1942 no-mint Lincoln cent, beyond metal and mintage, is its cultural echo inside American memory. This coin passed through the hands of soldiers' families, industrial workers, ration-era households, and Depression survivors still rebuilding financial stability. Every circulated example, even the most dirty, dark, oxidized, or roughened, is a survivor from a moment when American identity was shaped under economic pressure and looming war. That cultural gravity makes even ordinary-looking pieces feel heavier in spirit than modern cents that lack narrative souls. One of the most misunderstood realities for beginners is the idea that dirt and age automatically destroy collectible value. While heavy corrosion and pitting can certainly reduce grade, a coin that is old, uncleaned, and naturally toned is far preferable to one harshly polished or abrasively restored. In fact, collectors respect original surfaces, even if dull or stained, because untouched metal preserves authenticity and leaves grading potential intact. A 1942 wheat cent that looks ugly to the untrained eye can still be a powerhouse if it carries the right variety, strikes strength, and originality. Another driving force behind the coin's premium status is how decisively it performs during competitive auctions. Coins that are certified, variety attributed, and visually appealing have repeatedly outpaced conservative price guides because collectors battle emotionally over nostalgia-anchored pieces. Once 2 or 3 high-budget bidders want the same coin, price ceilings shatter. This repeated pattern over the last decade has signaled momentum. The 1942 no-mint penny in elite states has not stagnated. It has gained recognition and respect as supply of top survivors continues to shrink. The coin's legitimacy and desirability are further reinforced by its constant presence in numismatic literature, price catalogs, grading registries, and professional collections. Major grading bodies highlight it within recognized registry sets, and respected authors emphasize the 1942 run as the final calm bronze year before wartime metal chaos. That level of institutional remention ensures the coin never falls into obscurity. It is repeatedly taught, cited, indexed, and showcased, which guarantees that long-term interest remains evergreen. Looking forward, the 1942 no-mint Lincoln Wheat Penny carries substantial long-term potential because its supply cannot grow, only shrink, while awareness and population analysis continue to sharpen collector appetites. As younger investors join numismatics seeking tangible historical stores of value, coins like the 1942 cent, with narrative, pedigree, aesthetic heritage, and proven market behavior, are likely to continue their upward trajectory. For anyone building a future-oriented portfolio of American classics, this coin stands as a steady, story-rich, and time-tested candidate. In the current active coin market, a dramatic price split exists. A regular 1942 P that is dirty, aged, and circulated normally hovers in low retail territory, but elite survivors or dramatic error/variety pieces with superior eye appeal and strong certification have been known realistically to enter the $1,000 to $8,000 plus range when sold under premium collector conditions. Powerful pricing is fueled when three elements converge: historical linkage, superb eye appeal, and scarcity in high-grade or unique variety. Collectors are drawn to this coin because it bridges pre-war U.S. money to wartime transition, yet still carries the iconic wheatback imagery that dies in 1958. It is simultaneously nostalgic and investment-driven, an ideal hybrid for numismatists who respect history but also recognize upward price potential in graded high-end survivors. The 1942 wheat cent is the kind of piece that quietly lives in junk drawers for decades, until a rare variant or pristine survivor enters an auction ring and shocks the rooms. Smart pursuit favors carefully inspecting for double-die varieties, unusually crisp strike details, and coins free of corrosion. Certified encapsulation, PCGS, NGC, protects value and improves market confidence. Coins should be stored in inert holders, kept away from moisture and bare handling, and purchased from reputable dealers or recorded public auctions. Joining coin forums, shows, and communities ensures early awareness of shifting trends and availability wind. The 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is a brilliant fusion of history, artistry, and scarcity at the top grades, and it continues to hold a commanding role in the wheat cent category. Its wartime adjacency, patriotic reverse, and finite supply of premium survivors make it a prized collectible and a compelling long-term hold for serious numismatists. Whether pursued for passion, preservation, or profit, it remains one of the coins most capable of captivating enthusiasts and rewarding committed collectors with both story and value. Next up in the 1944 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin that consistently ignites excitement because of its World War-era origin, classic Lincoln portrait, and its enduring desirization among serious numismatists. Even when found in very old, extremely dirty, circulation-beaten condition, this Denver-struck cent can still command attention, and when encountered in premium grade or rare variety form, it transitions from a mere penny into a prized trophy coin that collectors chase with fierce enthusiasm. Its mixture of patriotic timing, strong historical identity, and relentless demand makes the 1944 D an undeniably powerful entry within the wheat cent timeline. The 1944 D Wheat Penny was struck at the Denver Mint during the final years of World War II, at a time when metal conservation and wartime economics shaped the tenor of American production. This coin carries the Lincoln Wheat reverse design, still in use since 1909, but represents the rebound back to copper alloy after the one-year, 1943 steel experiment. That alone positions the 1944 D as a direct numismatic consequence of wartime policy and reversal. Owning it is to own a material artifact of that American pivot, a tangible, pocket-sized reminder of a country coming out of steel rationing and racing toward victory. The obverse presents the trusted bust of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, with its timeless "In God We Trust" scroll, Liberty inscription, and the 1944 date anchored beside the unmistakable D mint mark. The reverse hosts the classic two wheat stalks flanking 1 cent, a rural industrial emblem that defined an era. Composed of 95% copper, 5% tin/zinc, measuring 19 millimeters and weighing 3.11 grams. The coin still radiates sculptural dignity when found in crisp, uncirculated surfaces. The beard strands, the hairline, the wheat kernels, all become tiny monuments of early 20th century medallic engraving. In everyday dug out of a drawer, shaped the 1944 D is not rare. But high-grade specimens are another universe. Coins that survived without nicks, without bag marks, without flat strike weakness, and those certified in the upper mint state range are surprisingly elusive. Add to that the existence of rare transitional error varieties, including wrong planchet off-metal submissions, double-die anomalies, or defect strike curiosities, and the supply of premium examples suddenly contracts into a realm of true scarcity, pushing competition and prices upward. For standard 1944 D pieces in ordinary worn condition, the coin typically trades modestly. But the moment a specimen crosses into certified extra fine, EU, or crisp uncirculated, or worse, involves a dramatic variety, the numbers change shape entirely. Based on real auction climate and modern demand, certain premium examples can track in the $1,000 to $8,000 corridor, depending on grade, designation, and eye appeal. Market confidence has stayed strong among wheat cent specialists, especially when visual sharpness and historical linkage intersect. Collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying a wartime story in copper. The romance of a Lincoln cent struck as American troops pushed toward the final chapters of World War II casts an aura of emotional gravity around the piece. The 1944 D appeals both to investors who measure compounding rarity and to historians who want artifacts that still retain authenticity and public familiarity. Its survival trajectory, from factory dies in Denver to palm heat in circulation to vault storage, is exactly the kind of narrative that numismatics celebrates. Those pursuing this coin seriously should focus on third-party certified examples, especially graded by PCGS or NGC for authenticity and condition verification. Knowledgeable buyers scrutinize strike quality, original luster, and potential errors. Storage should involve non-PVC holders, stable humidity, and zero direct handling, as fingerprints compromise copper forever. Participating in major auctions, reputable dealers, and numismatic groups exposes a collector to better information, better offerings, and better timing. One of the most fascinating dynamics around wartime wheat cents like the 1944 D is that even coins in painfully grimy, dirt-layered, storage-ruined, or pocket-beaten condition are still actively kept rather than discarded. That is because their origin story, not their shine, is what infuses them with perceived power. Collectors understand that a penny that has lived through 80-plus years, possibly passing through ration-era grocery counters, victory bond purchases, or post-war wages, is a physical witness of national transformation. Even with the dust of 8 decades clinging to its surface, the 1944 D carries a psychological weight that modern cents will never duplicate. Whenever a radiant 1944 D specimen enters a competitive bidding space, something interesting happens. The bidding escalation is rarely logical. It is emotional. People are not just buying copper, they are buying eligibility. Eligibility to own a chapter of American financial memory. That is why one can watch a piece vault from a conservative opening to an aggressive hammer price as multiple bidders refuse to surrender the narrative ownership. Historic copper in certified ultra-grade triggers the same must-win instinct seen in art auctions or manuscript rooms. The coin becomes an identity item, not just a numismatic line item. Collectors who secure a premium 1944 D variety or a blazing mint-state Denver strike rarely flip it quickly. These owners talk about the piece as a long-horizon keeper, something that accumulates credibility and storytelling power over time. Because supply of high-grade survivors only shrinks, never expands, holding becomes part of the strategy. As lower-end examples corrode, get mishandled, or are lost in estate cleanouts, the relative rarity of pristine material climbs without any new production to replenish stock. That supply contraction psychology is precisely why patient owners sit tight. For thousands of new collectors, the 1944 D becomes the moment of serious escalation, the first coin where they begin to understand grading tiers, mint sources, historical tie-ins, and auction premiums. It is not uncommon for a person who begins with a humble 1944 D find to later branch into full Lincoln date sets, off-metal error hunts, and high-budget trophy bidding. In that sense, the coin does not just occupy a slot in a binder. It initiates a transformation from casual curiosity into deep numismatic identity. It is a gateway from ownership to obsession. Even as markets fluctuate and new collecting themes trend in and out of favor, coins like the 1944 D maintain a permanent rank inside the wheat cent hierarchy because they are tied to enduring narratives, war, recovery, mintcraft history, and design continuity. Fads and neon modern issues may flash temporarily, but the 1944 D endures because it sits on a pedestal of legitimacy that cannot be replaced. It is the type of coin that will still be researched, still be auctioned, still be written about, and still be hunted a century from now, because its story is not fashion-based. It is historically anchored and universally intelligible. The 1944 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is not merely a piece of change. It is a fusion of history, design engineering, wartime policy, and modern collecting energy. Whether encountered in beaten, out-of-condition form or in a glowing mint-state slab, it retains narrative weight and commanding appeal. For collectors who want coins that are emotionally resonant, historically tethered, and financially defendable, this wartime Denver cent stands as a profoundly satisfying and highly rewarding target, destined to remain a compelling figure in American copper numismatics. Next up in the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny, without a mint mark, stands out as one of the most fascinating and highly pursued copper cents among mid-century United States coinage. Even when found in very old, dirt-packed, stained, and heavily handled condition, this coin continues to captivate coin hunters and serious collectors because of its emotional tie to the closing moments of World War II and the patriotic spirit embedded in its metal. Among enthusiasts of U.S. cents, it is often celebrated as a powerful coin, not for gold or silver content, but for the era it represents and the financial respect it continues to command in the active market. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint in 1945, which explains the absence of a mint letter under the date. This last phase wartime wheat cent belongs to a generation of coins issued when the United States was shifting from conflict toward peace. The coin is more than a small circular object. It is a surviving artifact from a year marked by the Allied victory in Europe and the soon-after surrender in the Pacific. Collectors view it as a tangible connection to a nation in transition, printed under the authority of the United States Mint while the world's biggest war was closing, giving it historical weight beyond its face value. Classical reverse, copper presence. On the obverse, one finds Victor David Brenner's admired profile of Abraham Lincoln, still sharp and aspirational despite age and patina. The reverse proudly carries the dual wheat stalks framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, a design symbolic of agricultural strength and national provision in a post-depression, post-war society. Crafted from bronze, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, with a standard diameter of 19 millimeters and approximate weight of 3.11 g, this coin's classic wheatback design and no mint mark origin provided a recognizable footprint in American coinage history. Although millions were produced in 1945, survival in extremely high grade or with rare strike varieties is not common, which generates collector tension. Typical circulated examples are abundant and inexpensive, but coins retaining sharp original luster, no mint damage, no rubbing on the jawline, and intact reverse lines are much harder to secure. The allure intensifies when the coin exhibits special die traits. Doubled dies, off-centers, clipped planchets, and die cracks command impressive multiples due to their scarcity and desirability in the marketplace. While heavily circulated coins are often found in pocket change value levels, the most impressive and elite pieces, especially highly graded, uncirculated, or rare variety specimens, have been documented at auction or advanced private sale in the range of $1,000 to as high as $8,000, depending on certified grade and die anomaly presence. Prices reflect not just metal composition but historic context, display aesthetics, and the accelerating competition for modern collectors re-entering the vintage copper market. Serious buyers are advised to prioritize certified examples from respected grading entities, especially when paying top-tier prices. Special varieties require expert attribution. Invest time under magnification before purchase. Store acquisitions in safe, acid-free holders. Minimize barehand contact, and avoid cleaning, which destroys premium. Keep tuned to numismatic forums, auction patterns, and estate dispersals where wartime cents occasionally surface in original envelopes untouched for decades. The continuing rise of coin education on digital platforms has elevated the 1945 no-mint Lincoln cent from old coin to historic financial artifact. Its connection to global war history, its pure American portraiture, and the growing premium commanded by flawless survivors make it a prize target for both hobbyists and investment-driven numismatists. The narrative of age, use, and nation-changing events embedded into copper increases its desirability year after year. One of the under-discussed reasons this 1945 no-mint wheat penny remains powerful in collector psychology is its emotional magnetism. Even when the coin is extremely dirty, dark-toned, oxidized, or scratched, it still sends a shock of era energy into the hand. People do not simply see old copper. They see the wages of soldiers, factory workers, war widows, and a nation on the cusp of peace. The coin becomes a living survivor rather than merely a minted disc. This emotional layer increases its desirability because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying memory trapped in matter. Another dimension that keeps this 1945 cent competitive in the premium tier is the market's obsession with anomalies. Collectors know that ordinary examples are plentiful, but double-die obverse inscriptions, tilted hubs, broad strikes, lamination splits, and clipped planchets transform the coin from interesting to auction-worthy. These rare mechanical accidents from inside the Philadelphia Mint give the 1945 penny an unpredictable thrill factor. Any dirty or low-grade pocket find has the microscopic potential of being a $1,000 outlier, which keeps hunter engagement alive and feverish. The 1945 no-mint wheat penny is not only beloved in private collections. Academic and institutional collections frequently include it to teach economic history, post-war industrialization, minting technology, and national symbolism. Coins like these are displayed not for glamour, but for teaching transformation, how copper mass production financed everyday life during a transitioning world. Museums give this penny legitimacy beyond hobby circles, which reinforces confidence in its cultural and collectible longevity. Investors who deal in tangible assets often look for coins with a proven price floor and slow but consistent appreciation. The 1945 no-mint wheat penny meets that profile. Even when markets cool, wartime Lincoln cents do not collapse in reputation or resale. The combination of recognizable design, guaranteed collector interest, and historical embedment prevents value evaporation. Over multi-decade graphs, coins like this show dependable lift, especially in elite certified condition, making them a quiet but respected category in long-horizon numismatic investment. What makes this coin most powerful in the philosophical sense is its guaranteed survival beyond individual lifetimes. These pieces have already outlived millions of original handlers and will continue to outlive present-day collectors. Each sale, each pass-down, each slab submission becomes part of its documented life story. In this way, the 1945 no-mint Lincoln wheat penny is not only a collectible, it is a carrier of American continuity, destined to circulate among generations of historians, collectors, educators, and investors long after today's community is gone. The 1945 no-mint wheat penny stands as a powerful and justified treasure in United States coinage. Whether unearthed in rugged and dusty form or locked in a protective slab with pristine surfaces, it remains a compelling pursuit for global collectors. Those who capture this coin in premium condition or variety form secure not just a relic, but a layered piece of American narrative and an asset with enduring collector confidence.